Well, as you expect from your European champions, made our way very safely through our group at the Club World Cup today. It's time for knockout football. First up, we've got Club America, and then we might be able to take on some European opposition in the quarterfinal. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 98 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Benfica. I hope you're doing well and come up day. It's the second part of our trip here to the FIFA Club World Cup. We're going to take on Club America in the second round. And if we get past these guys, we'll take on the winner of Bayer Leverkusen versus Fluminense, which as you can see is Bayer Leverkusen, so it could be an all-European quarterfinal clash coming up against, of course, the team that did win the Bundesliga in our last year there with Jan Regensburg. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that, but it does come off the back of the group stage in yesterday's episode. Also a teeny bit of transfer window movement as well, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. But today we make our way into the second round. It's knockout time. You can see here all the teams that made their way through the group stage. A couple of quite big ties here at this stage. Juventus, they take on Manchester City, got Inter there, who take on Chelsea, and probably down the bottom is the biggest of all, Tottenham versus Bayern, especially because Nagelsmann's just left Tottenham Hotspur to replace Pep Guardiola there at Bayern Munich, his second stint in a club, which is something he does like to do in Football Manager. And also Tottenham Hotspur, they've not got a replacement yet for Julian Nagelsmann, but I'm pretty sure if we check out the news items, we'll go down here and see that Pep Guardiola is the leading candidate. I'm pretty sure he's underbid there from Tottenham as well as AC Milan. So it could be the next Tottenham Hotspur manager, as the former Bayern one. Might be a little bit there of a managerial switch there for the team we did beat in that Champions League semi before we beat Real Madrid in that final. But we have got Club America here in the second round, one of the bigger clubs in Mexico. Definitely going to be here a bit of a sterner challenge than we got yesterday when we took on Santos Laguna, expected to finish fourth there in Liga BBVA. So definitely a team expected to be higher up there in that Mexican league. But thankfully, because we rested quite a few of our key players in that last group stage game that we did play our win over Bahia, it does mean that we can put out for this game a pretty strong team. Just the one change there due to injury still is Monsalvo over Castillejo, who is still out for a couple of weeks. So don't think he'll feature for much the remainder of this Club World Cup. Might sneak his way back in time potentially for a final or a semi in tomorrow's episode, because I do think off the back of the second round, the gaps between these games do start to get quite a bit bigger. And also, actually, both our usual first choice wing backs are on heavy workloads for some reason, so it does mean that Paredes in there at right back, and also we've got Ronaldo at left back as well. So a couple of changes that are a bit unexpected, especially off the back of that rest. We did give our first teamers in that Bahia game, but for the most part, it is our first choice level against the team from North America. You'd like to think this is one that we can get past here and make our way through a quarterfinal, obviously, having just recently picked up that UEFA Champions League. So hopefully here can put a good showing in this first game of today's episode. These guys did lose one of the group stage games, albeit that was to Barcelona. Not too bad a form, albeit not actually too sure how deep Barcelona got in the Champions League this past season. I presume they were in it, but we didn't see too much of them. But on the attack here early, Club America, I say on the attack, trying to make their way out from inside of their own half. Currently, though, putting them under a fair bit of pressure here with a decent press, albeit they do keep the ball quite well here down their right-hand side. So far, Club America actually spending a fair bit of time here on the ball. But as I say, that a poor pass does mean that Monsalvo can get it back for us. Not too good to work there once we got the ball back, but thankfully, just they were there to keep hold of it. Now might be able to launch here our first attack of this game. Monsalvo there does get back on the ball. That one a little bit under hit there to Aiden Califatoglu, but thankfully controls it well. And now we do get on the attack. Nice square there from Kawamori for Piskunov, who picks up goal number 34 for the season. Not too sure actually when we eventually do take over into the new season here in Football Manager, because it feels like that should be coming up pretty shortly. But nice work there off that highlight, which did start with Club America looking pretty well in control of the ball, but a poor pass did mean that Monsalvo could get it back for us, and off the back of looking a little bit loose for a wee while, we're on the attack there and put that one away thanks to both Kawamori and to Piskunov. So a nice early lead for us here in the second round clash at the Club World Cup. And now it's Califatoglu with a free kick from a dangerous position, which unfortunately it comes off the woodwork, and Lucas can just get back there in time to tidy up that looping header. Probably need a bit more power and not quite as much air on that one, and we might have made it 2-0. But early stages here looking like we're pretty well in control of this game. Let's hope that soon we can grab one more goal and put these guys away. nice and early grab our cushion goal lead, and from there we should really be quite hard to get past, as has been the case in European competitions here this season with this Benfica team, as well as most of the cup ones outside, of course, that Portuguese Cup. We got knocked out in early by a second division team. Unfortunately, Silva there did go quite close to making it 2-0, but that one does come off the woodworks all over here, Club America, in the first half of this game. But unfortunately, we haven't quite been able to make it 2-0, despite the fact XG is quite high from that first half. So hopefully can score a goal here nice and early in the second, and from there maybe can look to take off some players and rest them before that quarter-final against the decent Bayer Leverkusen team. Don't think they went super deep in the Champions League this season, of course being the German champions from the year before, but they are quite handy when they're on their game. And now a set piece, unfortunately, can't pick out anyone there in the centre of the box. But back on the ball here, Renato pulls it back there for Robert Renan, who rockets that one into the top right corner. Fair play, that's a pretty good goal there from our captain and our centre-back, and he rockets that one in the top right corner to make it 2-0. So thankfully, we've got that cushion goal lead that we were hoping for. Renato actually played it in there, did think briefly that Silva might have got the assist, but that finish is a beauty there from Robert Renan. To be fair, he's our centre-back that doesn't usually score too many goals out of our starters. Usually it's Rui Silva from those set pieces, but that time a bit of individual brilliance does mean that we take a 2-0 lead and finally have a scoreline here, which I think reflects what we've been seeing in the match engine. Club America there briefly did look like they might get something going there from that goal kick, but no, we win the ball and try and get going here. Down our right-hand side, Prodi does a little turn there and plays it back to the previous goal scorer in Robert Renan. Now, Husik does quite well under pressure to keep hold of this ball, but to be fair, Club America putting us here under a bit of pressure as we try and get something going down that right-hand side. But now we try and switch this out left here. Renato with a ball for looking for Calafitoglu. It's not too great, so it does mean that Club America can get on the ball, but again, that's a really poor pass, and Calafitoglu will just dink that one past their goalkeeper and Lucas and makes it 3-0. So some really poor work there from Club America at the back. While we're here, we might start to make some subs of our first team players who are dropping down to some deep yellow hearts. The goal scorer will take him off there for Nicolas Martinez, and also Yu Kawamori, Francisco Trincao can come on for him. It does mean that we missed the replay of that third goal. Whoopsie, but it was a pretty good one, a poor pass, and then it got dinked over there from Calafitoglu to make it 3-0. But now we're down the other end here for a free kick to Club America, which to be fair, Sukic is taking a fair bit of time on. Let's see here what he does. That one does come off the woodwork. A very interesting angle. It's made its way back out there to Jallo, who does poke that one home. So Club America have actually got their way somewhat back into this game. We'll take off here pretty off the back of picking up that yellow card. That will be actually for Max Johnston, who is still here at the club, hasn't quite left yet. And also, we'll bring on Devia there in central midfield for Monsalvo as well, seeing as that's a position that we're a little bit weakened off the back of that injury to Castillejo, but not too sure how it's come off that part of the post and made its way there to the eventual goal scorer in Jallo. But we've thankfully still got a 2-goal lead, albeit now Franco Devia, who we've just brought on, has picked up an orange injury. Might have to wait and see here if we can leave him on for a little bit longer. But before this next highlight starts, Rui Silva has picked up a yellow card. So I think with our final sub here, Miguel Hez can come on for our dangerous aerial centre-back. There's a free kick here that we might still be about to see. And indeed, it looks like here it's Piskunov who's taking a sweet time over this one. Indeed, he does, as eventually Miguel Hez does make his way there onto the edge of the box, but we don't need him. Piskunov with an absolute rocket there into the top right corner to make it 4-1, and he gets himself on a hat-trick. So his late season form has been brilliant. Of course, got both goals in our Champions League final win, and has now picked up 2 here in the second round of the Club World Cup. So I suppose now the only concern is how bad that injury might be to Franco Devia, but definitely going to be making our way through to the quarterfinals of this Club World Cup by Leverkusen. No doubt a bit of a step up from what we've taken on so far in this competition, but obviously European champions, you probably have to back us with the squad that we do currently have. But just about to make our way into 5 minutes of added time in Club America here, are going to look to make this 2 goals for them and get a bit here of some pride back in the scoreline, because to be fair, we've been all over them outside that 1 goal they scored from that free kick, but they keep the ball here quite decently and get going down this right-hand side. Garcia, a slide tackle there that does fall to a teammate, but Robert Renan there with a good block, so it does mean it stays here at 4-1 as we sneak our way into injury time for some reason, taking a fair bit of time here on the set piece, but Devia will head that one away. They get a shot off there on the volley and actually force quite a good save there out of Andre Lunin. So far, the latter stages of this game, Club America are coming at us, but to be fair, it's a case of too little too late with this free goal lead that we do have. Thankfully, just able here to clear our lines, and surely that will be this highlight over. Indeed, it is just making our way here. The final minute of added time, and that will do it. In the end, a relatively comfortable 4-1 win. They grabbed a goal back there when it was 3-0 from a free kick, which did come off the woodwork. Right place, right time there for Jello to put that one away. But apart from that, good work from Piskunov, who picked up a double run, probably with the goal of the game, albeit that Piskunov free kick was also a ripper. And Kalavatoglu with that little dink just before he started to make some subs. So it does mean we've made our way through the quarterfinals. We'll come back shortly and get ready to take on Bayer Leverkusen. And we've gone forward a couple of days there from that quite impressive win over Club América in the second round of the Club World Cup. And it's time now for the quarterfinals. Here are the other teams that did make their way through. Man City 1-0 over Juventus. It took Barcelona extra time to get past Jumbuk Hondo, which to be fair, a bit surprising considering how easily we got past those guys in the group stage. PSG, they beat Monaco in all French affair. The big upset Corinthians get past Real Madrid, albeit it was after extra time. So that definitely is the upset there. From that second round, Chelsea, they get past Inter, and of course the new Bayern manager and Nagelsmann beats his former team in Tottenham Hotspur 3-2. So that does mean that the quarterfinals, they have been set up, and already there's been one game played, and Felipe Luis is pretty OP both in real life and in FM, because his Corinthians team have just knocked out PSG 1-0. So one Brazilian team has made their way through to the semi-finals, and if we get past Bayer Leverkusen, that's who would take on in that semi. So hopefully can make our way here past the team that did win the Bundesliga back in the 2031-32 season. Of course, this year it was RB Leipzig, the team that Louis Enrique left Benfica to join. But Niko Kovac, this was a job actually we thought we might get back when his contract situation looked like it might expire off the back of that Bundesliga title win. But then he renewed his contract in this past season. They weren't quite as good. We'll just check actually where they did finish in the Bundesliga this past season, because now, 1st of July, we have just ticked over into a new season. They finished second, 4 points there behind RB Leipzig. So off late, they've actually been one of the better teams there in the Bundesliga. Have this Bayer Leverkusen outfit hopefully can find a way to get the job done over them, seeing as we bet them a couple of times when back at Jan Regensburg. But they are in some quite good form, obviously, at this Club World Cup, and usually one of the better teams over there in Germany. But before we get stuck into this game, a little bit of a transfer update, because the new season has just ticked over, which does mean that the transfer window, it has also opened up. So it does mean a few players have now left the club. We'll just make our way here to history and you can see what has gone on. And indeed, we did let go of a couple of players for some reason. Max Johnston is not showing up here. He has now officially left the club and gone over to Saudi Arabia. So he got his last bit of action there in that second round of the Club World Cup, that win over Club América. Not too sure how he's valued that high, but getting an absolute bag of money there compared to what he was getting paid at Benfica for being a third choice right back. So fair play there to Max Johnston. Couldn't register him for the Champions League, so thought we may as well sell him, even though that fee in the end might be a little bit low. But good old Saudi do think he might be overvalued despite that 12 million fee that they did pay for him. Of course, that does mean too that our free transfers, they have come in the big two of Habib Diarra from Strasbourg, our new first choice deep lying playmaker, over the homegrown Louis. And also, we do have coming in a new first choice centre back in Tanguy Nyanzu. So two really good first choice additions now to our team that we picked up on freezer. But unfortunately, because they've come in here in July, they can't actually play in this Club World Cup. So that is a little bit of a bummer. So you won't see them until we actually get through the rest of this tournament, which hopefully will stretch for one more episode and we can make our way into the semi-finals and hopefully the final, at least, seeing as that's when you actually start to get paid for your trip here to the Club World Cup. But seeing as we've had a few days off the back of that win over Club América, and also the fact too we're able to take off some key players early once they drop down to yellow hearts, it does mean it's our best 11 still though, with Monsalvo in that central midfield role, still waiting for Castillejo to come back from his injury. But he definitely could be back in time for the final if we do make it that far. But here are Bayer Leverkusen. It looks like one of the stronger teams that they've put out for this game. Not too sure, of course, about the signings that they did make last season in the Bundesliga, with a lot of names there that I'm familiar with my time back at Jan Regensburg when we had that big old trophy drought there. But let's see how we get on here in this quarterfinal. Of course, Florentino Luis is a homegrown player. Definitely not going to sell him in this transfer window, even though he is getting on because he is homegrown club. But it's our best 11 here with Monsalvo slotting in central midfield. It does mean that coming back in, we've got Forte at right back and Emmanuel Nardi at left back too. Those guys got a decent rest in that previous game, not even sitting on our bench. They're definitely fresh here for this quarterfinal, albeit the first highlight. It's Bayer Leverkusen here in the black, who are on ball. Let's see what they do early. Far too easily there. They make their way straight through our defence, and Savinho will put that one away. So that is a very soft goal to concede here inside 1 minute. It might have even been by the time that goal did get scored. They have a free kick here, which Parola, he takes there to Guma, and Savio is able to get between both Fortea and Robert Renan. Our right-hand side of our defence there having a little bit of a shocker early. They might still be waking up here in French time. Not that I think it's too different from Portuguese time, but they make it 1-0 now. Fortea just feels like not playing today. A stupid tackle, and he's got a red card. To be fair, been a fair while since we've caught one of those here in this save, since the good old Jan Regensburg days, so it does mean an early sub will bring on pretty for Kawamori. Now this time might be a little bit more of a concern because we actually got that central attacking midfield role going a lot better than we did back at Jan Regensburg, since we switched it to a shadow striker, but down to 10 men very early in this Club World Cup quarter-final. This is definitely going to be a big test here of the European champions. Let's see how we get on in the remainder of this game. We hit the ball there, tried to play a ball in behind, but unfortunately Urbig did come out and claim that one. But Bayer Leverkusen here will try and make their way out from that. We try and press them, but unfortunately don't do a great job. And now back here on the attack, some simple passing in amongst our defence there on the edge of the box, and they put that one away and make it 2-0. We might be about to be going home from this Club World Cup a lot earlier than I was hoping because of a stupid red card from Jesus Forte. I'm not too sure there how Wiper has got in behind our defence, but good work there from Dorgalez. A nice run, and he just drew some defenders in to allow Wiper to find some space, and they make it 2-0. So not looking good here to make our way through the final four of this Club World Cup, which as the current European champions would not be too great. But obviously a red card in the 6th minute does not help our chances. Maybe playing without the shadow striker is going to be a problem with the 4-2-3-1 we've got here at Benfica compared to how it worked when back at Jan Regensburg. Quite often we're able to pick up wins when down to 10 men, including against teams like Real Madrid. So while we're here, we're going to go a bit more attacking here with some of these roles for the second half, both the inside forward out left and the central midfielder. Hopefully that will make up a little bit for the lack of a shadow striker. And also we'll bring on Magalhaes there for Robert Renan on a 6.3. Magalhaes can come on for a struggling Kalifatoglu at left wing too. So a couple of changes to both the roles and the personnel for the second half. And let's see if that might get us here going a bit better in the second half. Also Eden Husik actually not going too well on a 6.4, but he's been quality so far here at Benfica. We'll see what he can do in the second half, but Nadi here does make his way forward down that left-hand side. Gets flicked back out there to Husik, who squares it for Monsalvo, who will put that one away. Our first goal scorer here of the new season at Benfica, seeing as it's just ticked over, and we get ourselves back into this game. So maybe those changes are going to help Eden Husik, who we did leave on despite the average rain. Some nice work there off the ball floated in from Manuel Nardi, and Monsalvo with a good finish, decent attempt there from Urbig to try and keep it out, but can't quite get the job done. So 2-1, and now a chance for us here again to build out from the back here from a free kick taken by Lunin in goal. And we already make our way into the opposition half. Piskunov here with a very strong run, but Urbig comes up with a big save, just like his name says. So going quite good here with those changes that we did make at halftime. Let's see if we can pick out Silva at the far post. Unfortunately, you can't, and that highlight, it will come to an end, but certainly looking a bit more dangerous here in the second half of this game, albeit now Leverkusen with a corner. That one comes off a woodwork, and somehow Silva gets himself in front of that shot, and it does go out for a corner. So thankfully, it's still only 2-1, and we're still somewhat in this game. And thankfully as well, they float that ball too much at the far post, and Luna can claim that one. But now they pick out Tapsoba, and that one goes just wide. So all of a sudden, Bayer Leverkusen responded off the back of that goal we did score, but Piskunov is going a bit barely on a 6.5, so we'll try to Rosa here up top ideally. Would be able to take off here Peretti. We could for Ronaldo, but probably not too smart considering that we did bring on Peretti in this game for Kawamori with that red card to Forte. So that's probably a little bit of a waste of a sub, but he's definitely not going too well at right back on a 6.4 for some reason. Our right backs here are having absolute stinkers, but now Monsalvo does drop down to red hard. Our goal scorer is one of the better players out there, but Franco Devia, let's bring him on here with our final sub. We've got 20 minutes left and still actually somewhat in this game. Certainly a good start to the second half, but since we scored that goal, we have just been a little bit quiet. By Leverkusen have got back on top of us just a little bit, but now what we might do here is put Pretty onto attack, because so far he's been pretty poor, and we do need a goal as we make our way to the final 15 minutes of this game. So let's see maybe if putting both our wingbacks onto attack as well as both our wide players, and of course that centre mid, which these days is Franco Devia, that might work. And now a set piece, unfortunately can't pick out Silva there at the near post, but Husik gets us here back on the ball. Some short link up play there. They clear it away, but not too well. Pretty here will float this one, and we unfortunately can't get a shot off. But now Nadi is back on the ball. Some good work here from our wing backs, but unfortunately that ball goes in there, and Urbig is too big for them and can claim that one. But he pumps this one deep. Thankfully Nadi tracks back well and wins that ball for us. Marnie is there. A loose touch, a shopping back pass there from Gusto, and then De Rosa can put it away, and we make it 2-2. So while we're here, we'll cancel, I think, the shout that we maybe were about to do. Actually might have been a bit late for that one, and now we might just pull here Pretty back to being on support as well as Marnie's at left wing too, because that is a huge goal. We've came from 2-0 down here with only 10 men, and this one might be about to go to extra time. We've only got 5 minutes left to be fair. It's a little bit unlucky, that loose touch there from Martinez, but Gusto with a well undercooked back pass did mean that it wasn't making its way to Urbig, and De Rosa could make the most of it. So hopefully can hold on here and make our way into extra time. It might even not be extra time here at the Club World Cup. I'm not too sure, but unfortunately, by Leverkusen, they get on the attack, and Aymar can put that one away. Fingers crossed he's straight offside, because otherwise our right backs are having an absolute stinker, and indeed they are. Pretty decides there not to defend, because it looked like there's someone should have got a body in the way. So unfortunately, might be about to blow all that good work we've done in the second half of this game. We've done so well to come back from 2-0 down with only 10 men, but it looks like it might be all for nothing off the back of that goal that has just been scored. It came from a pretty simple throw-in routine here. Aymar, a nice pass from him. It goes back out there to Gusto, who takes on the shot. It comes off the woodwork. There's a player there. He doesn't quite get a body in the way properly, shies away from the ball, and indeed, it is Pretty. So maybe he's someone we need to look to sell, because he's been rubbish, to be fair. So both our right backs in this game, at least he's actually kept himself on the field. But it does mean that our journey at the Club World Cup, it does come to an end a lot sooner than I was hoping it would, seeing as we're the current Champions League holders. We suffer a 3-2 defeat there to Bayer Leverkusen. Unfortunately, too, our XG from that game was not too bad. Obviously, the red card was the big difference maker there in the 7 minutes, and to be fair, we were already 1-0 down. We actually played a bit better with 10 men on the field. Both our right backs will yell at, saying is that's the position that it feels like has cost us big time there in that Club World Cup quarterfinal, and also just a few wins away from actually getting some decent prize money from this Club World Cup too. So that actually was a little bit of a waste of time, that Club World Cup. I thought that surely would make our way quite deep as the European champions, but no, our stupid right backs decided that they want a proper holiday before the start of the Portuguese season. Also, we've got a few Super Cups here this year at Benfica, including the UEFA one against the Europa League winner in Manchester United, but unfortunately won't be making our way through the final four of the Club World Cup, and miss a big chance too to go through the final, considering we'd have played Corinthians in the semi. But our silly right backs, they've cost us in that one. Let's get through this post-match interview so I can wrap things up. And unfortunately, it's going to be a wrap too for the Club World Cup as a whole. We get knocked out in the quarters by Bayer Leverkusen. So unfortunately, our right backs there have a couple of shockers and cost us there in the Club World Cup. We've actually forced our guys now to play some friendlies, mainly to the likes of Diarra as well, as Nyanzu can get some fitness up as well as our B team players, but unfortunately get knocked out there early. To be fair, not too bad with that red card, but still a bit frustrating off the back of our Champions League win. Here's the recap of what happened in the remainder of that Club World Cup. On the other side, the draw Man City absolutely thumped Barca, and Chelsea, they thumped Bayern, going down to the semi-finals. Bayer Leverkusen 4-0 over Corinthians. Big missed chance there if we kept 11 players on the field. And Chelsea, they made their way through the final as per usual after a penalty shootout there. And the final, Chelsea, the kings of the Club World Cup, just like in real life, they get past Bayer Leverkusen 3-2. To be fair, not too sure if we would have beat Chelsea in that final, but certainly without a red card maybe could have at least made our way into that last big dance. Well, unfortunately, no Club World Cup for us here with Benfica, but we are still the European champions, and it does mean that we can come back in tomorrow's episode and get stuck into a couple of Super Cups. First up, it's the Super Tucker look to defend that when we take on this season's Sporting instead of Porto, and then we've got the UEFA Super Cup. We'll take on the Europa League champions from last year in Manchester United, and also, of course, there'll be a big old transfer recap of what we're going to do off the back of that Club World Cup. Now, that we don't need to worry about that in terms of selling players that can't play the rest of that tournament, seeing as it is now over. So hopefully you guys enjoyed those last couple of episodes at the Club World Cup. Was hoping we'd get one more in, but no, a silly red card there from Jesus Forte, and also Pretty did not do too well there either. So our right backs, they do let us down. But if you enjoyed that episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Until tomorrow for a couple of Super Cups here with Benfica, a chance for an early season double. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.